Welcome back to the live lunch, everyone here at PF International. My name is Chris McCarthy, your host. We're now joined by the man who does the technical support for JAG Rotax, Pete Thomas. Pete, thank you very much for joining us
You're welcome.
in the live lounge and for taking the time out your, what is I'm sure a very busy day. Let's talk a little bit about the Rotax classes at Kartmasters this year, because the grids very, very big, aren't they? And very, very competitive.
Very healthy grids, very pleased, and a great level of competition. You know, there's some really good drivers out there across the board. You know, and obviously the beauty of the classes are we see people come in at mini-max level. You know, come over from cadet, mini-max, and then they progress, junior, senior. And not this weekend, but of course we have the 177 lads that race as well, sort of thing. So a huge event for us to come along and support, and the numbers are very encouraging.
I mean, we're talking, you know, drivers out there are going to have to fight to get in the final across Rotax classes this weekend. Yes,
I think with the qualifying, obviously yesterday qualifying and then 2 races, and then today going back to what we would class as a club format, with, you know, 3 heats. Some people are going to struggle. I think we're going to see some unusual names possibly in a repechage final, which I've just been talking to one driver that's had a disaster so far this week and says he doesn't remember being in a B final since cadets.
Oh wow!
And he's in senior Rotax, so you know it does shake the format up, and I think that's good for the sport and good for the meeting, really.
Yeah, I mean that's something we spoke to the organisers about earlier here in the live lounge. Do you think that's do you like the new format? As
I'm an advocate of what I call proper racing. I love the front, middle, and back.
Yeah.
You're going to see qualifying at the big events. That's obviously the British. You know, you're going to see that, but I don't like the idea of clubs adopting it. I think club racing should be drivers coming through. There's an art to being overtaken at the right time and then using your head and following a faster driver. And there's an art to overtaking, and if you don't ever have to, will you learn how to do that? So there's a place for both, but I think at the very top, yes, the qualifying is going to be what's accepted as right, and I will concede to that. But I'm a sort of an old hand, shall we say, and I like the idea of people having to make an effort. And you know, if you start hitting people, it will slow you up. It shouldn't, you know. And with the nose cones now, you know, back in my day there wasn't the drop-down nose cone. You're finding things. People are getting reprimanded. A lot more people are finishing races with a nose cone than ever used to. So hopefully that will stop any sort of first corner stuff.
You know, you mentioned you're doing technical support. Tell us a little bit about how busy your weekends are at an event like this.
It can be very different. Obviously, there's a lot of the big teams are engine builders, whilst they will look after that area. Mine is not for the teams as well, but a lot of the privateers, the smaller teams, and that don't have that knowledge because they don't work on the engine on a daily basis. A lot of it will be a jetting problem. Is there a carb issue? Is there an electrical issue? Little things you can do, experience, you know, cable tie this, keep this lead up out the way. You know, there's all little things that it's not, no one's clever, it's just experience. You know, I've probably had the problem myself when I was racing on a regular basis, but you see the problem time and time again, and this is the same little things. It can be the tiniest thing, but it can cause a problem, and you just point someone in the right direction, and that can clear a problem just like that.
And tell us about some of the work that, you know, JAG have been putting in to help the success that, you know, is visible for everyone to see in the Rotax classes.
Like all classes, the product has seen highs and lows. This engine has been out in its now guise for 5 seasons. Obviously, the engine's been out for nearly 25 years now, getting on for. And then with the Evo, we've seen some great changes with the parity in the engine itself from new. You know, and there's engines coming through, and everything just seems to be getting that little bit closer. If you look at time qualifying, you know, you could have 3/5 different engines out there, and they are qualifying within a fag paper. So you've got people on different carts, different drivers, different standard of driving, different teams, different approaches, and yet we can produce racing and qualifying that close. There can't be too much wrong with the product in terms of level playing field. Many years back, pre-Evo, yes, when the barrels were sort of made differently, we did have that. But now we've got this parity where a new engine could be taken out of the box, running, race, and you will be somewhere at the, you know, in that mix.
And talking about that mix, I mean, we've got a hugely strong grid. We've got, you know, the 2020 FIA World Cup champion, Callum Bradshaw's on there, Mark Kimber, who won the grand finals last year, on there. They're just, that's from one team alone. You know, we've got previous Kartmasters winners on there.
Got Guy
as well.
Cunnington out there.
Yeah. We've got people coming back who raced
people
years
coming
ago.
back and raced.
Yeah,
and,
you know,
want to stretch their legs and have a go. You know, they might. And some of the lads aren't always youngsters. It's not always new blood, like you say. There's some blood from the past coming back into the sport, and finding, well, this is competitive. You know, we've had since those people have been away and come back, we've had the evolution of the engine. We've had the upgrade. We're on a D5 tyre. You know, very, very sticky tyre. And how physical that makes it, especially here. You know, it's a long lap here, and there's a lot of very fast corners. After 15 minutes tomorrow afternoon, there'll be some red faces, won't there, when they get on?
Yeah. What's your predictions for the racing this weekend? What do you expect?
Oh, it's such
I'm not going to ask you to pick winners. That's unfair. But I'm just saying, do you think we're going to get some really close?
I think it will be between 4 people that we would expect to be there. You know, you've already said with Callum. And obviously Guy could be about, Kai Hunter. They're all good guys. It doesn't really matter what team they're in or what chassis they're on. They're good drivers, and good drivers drive well. They drive to the conditions. They'll tiptoe through today thinking 8's better than a DNF. You know, they're good drivers, they're quality drivers, all of them, really. They're going to think about it and do their best.
And before I come to the final question, one thing this is building really up towards is, one thing I think of is Team UK at the Rotax Grand Finals this year is going to be incredibly strong. Tell us a little bit about what the Grand Finals is looking like this year.
Yes, obviously it's out in Portimao this year. I will be going out with JAG. JAG have invited me to go this year. Will be my first World Final, so I'm quite excited.
I'm very
about
jealous.
Things I've been busy doing my own thing and other things, but just now. But obviously, JAG have asked me to go along. That'll be great to see those guys, all our top guys racing with those top guys and girls from around the world, and just the whole event. I mean, I've been to the European with JAG, which is like a mini world final, you know, when it's been held at Le Mans when we went about 3 seasons ago. Yeah, it'd be great to see that. And just the whole event of how the karts are presented and how the whole event runs. Yeah, and as always, we have the cream of the crop go out, and we've had success and we've had some tears, and that's karting, unfortunately. No matter what level, whether you're a club meeting across the road on Sunday or whether you go to the world final, everybody needs a little bit of lady luck.
I mean, out of the UK, it's definitely an event that stands out, isn't it?
Fantastic! Yeah,
it really is
one of the biggest karting events in the world.
Yeah, but of course, this weekend it's getting that plate, isn't it?
That plate, everybody wants
and
that
that's
one
what
plate.
they're all going to be fighting for. Now, it's that plate I want to focus on in my final question. Our question of the day, which we're asking everyone to end the interviews here in the live lounge. So, you said you're a racer yourself, you've done a bit of racing.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time and race at any Kartmasters, in any class, which would it be and why?
I couldn't give you a year, but it would be early 90s Formula A, because that was the pinnacle in my era, shall we say, when I was racing and looking at
Were there any drivers you think wouldn't mind racing against them in Formula A?
Chris Rogers. Chris, you know,
of course, here this weekend.
This weekend, just spoken to him. Funny enough, you know, great ambassador for the sport. Chris, he's been there, done it. You can't ever not mention Mike Simpson, obviously, and his dad and what they've done for the sport over the years. You know, great people. Mike's gone on to have a great career in cars. Yeah. Didn't leave karting. Everybody thinks they've got to leave karting at sort of 15, 12. Mike didn't leave karting until he was 21, and then has forged a fantastic career for himself. And has never forgotten karting. No. And he's probably, you know, we've got 9-time winner here, you know, again this weekend. But Mike, obviously, in his time was the man to beat. Yeah. You know, and I think it must be great. I was never that good and didn't have that much talent and that budget. But whatever you race at, whatever level, you're racing the top people in the country. when people come to an event because they want to beat you, that must be a great feeling for that person. You know, that's a huge achievement for people to want to come along and knock you off that pedestal, because you don't get thrown up on the pedestal. You have to climb it and you have to get there. And I think people don't really understand how technical karting can be, and the effort. It's not just money. There's a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of weekends given up. You know, and it's hard. And if you get to the top in anything in sport, you've probably worked that little bit harder than the guy that's on the next step on the podium.
Oh, fascinating insight. Pete, thank you very much for joining
Cool.
us. And on behalf of all of us, good luck out in Portimao as well.
Yes,
and enjoy
looking forward to that,
this weekend
obviously,
as well. But thank you very much for joining us here in the live lounge. It's been Pete Thomas from JAG Rotax. This has been the live lounge. Be sure to tune in for lots more interviews with the likes of Chris Rogers coming out throughout the day.